Seed germination and cutting root propagation are extremely important aspects to any type of gardening. For bulk planting, seeds are basically the easiest way to go. For maintaining the exact genetic identity of a plant, cloning or root propagation is the answer. Perhaps the easiest way to germinate a small quantity of seeds is the moist paper towel method. Simply double fold a clean paper towel, spread seeds between the fold, keep the towel moist, and place in a warm area. These sprouts are now ready to be planted. For home hydroponic gardening, seeds are germinated in small quantities and in media that can easily be transplanted. This small quantity of rock wool cubes, blocks, and cylinders are being prepared for both seed germination and cloning by soaking in a weak, slightly acidic nutrient solution. Seeds are now placed in the cube holes and kept at room temperature or placed on a heat mat. A heat mat generally speeds germination by keeping the temperature of the media slightly above room temperature, usually between 75 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep in mind, however, that some seeds require cooler temperatures and do not require a heat mat. Spinach is a good example. Once the tray is placed on the mat, cover, keep the media moist, and wait for results. Germination will occur in just a few days. Before transplanting, allow the seedlings to remain until they have developed a sturdy root system. Here are 3 different sizes of rock wool cubes. These are packaged in sheets that fit standard grow trays. Rock wool is a good choice for germination or cuttings because it offers good moisture retention and provides excellent aeration. Placing the seedling or cutting under fluorescent lights will help maintain plant compactness and speed up the growing cycle. Without adequate light, the plants will become spindly and eventually may fall over. Note that the gardener is not limited to standard grow trays. For a small number of seeds or cuttings, many different sized plastic containers will work. The Rapid Rooter is a naturally composted tree bark device. The Rapid Rooter also retains moisture well, provides good aeration, and does a fine job as a medium for seeds and cuttings. This cake container dome also works great as a small cloning moisture dome. And it's true, like anything else, when you have the know-how, cloning is a piece of cake. All of these new plants are ready for transplanting. A side note about rock wool: note how the roots travel downward. The rock wool fibers are laid vertically to guide the roots to a new media, whether it be soil, clay aggregate, or a rock wool slab. Here, a seedling is started in a 1-inch cube, transplanted to a 3-inch block, resting on a 6-inch wide rock wool slab. The roots will travel downward and grow into the slab. The first step in the cloning process is to clean and sterilize the cutting tool. Keep a separate tool for cuttings and sterilize it by wiping it with alcohol. This fine blade shear works well for precision cutting. Select the cutting specimen that looks healthy and appears to be sturdy. Most cutting candidates are known as suckers and grow between a main stalk and the main leaf of a plant. Cut the stem long enough so it'll have adequate length for rooting after final trimming. Use the same procedure on other plants. This coleus sucker looks very healthy. After all cuttings have been taken for your project, trim to an adequate length. Although not absolutely necessary, many gardeners make the final cut at an angle to increase the absorption area. Meanwhile, the rock wool blocks have been soaking in a mild acidic nutrient solution. 200 ppm at a pH of 5.5 to 6.5 should be sufficient. Dip the stem into the rooting powder, shake off the excess, then gently insert it into the rock wool block. Gently squeeze the rock wool around the stem to ensure good contact. Use the same procedure for the rooting gel. In all cases with any rooting product, a thin coating is all that is required. Excesses may do more harm than good. Once the cuttings have been placed in a rooting tray, there are a few things that need to be done. First of all, the cuttings should be ventilated daily and checked to make sure they are moist. Spray the leaves with a fine mist of water, then cover with a dome. Place the fluorescent lights as close to the cuttings as possible. The rapid rooter also works well for cuttings. Use the same procedure as with the rock wool blocks. First, make sure the hole is large enough, then dip the cutting and insert it into the rooting medium. As you can see, as with seeding, this media does a good job for cuttings as well. The importance of adequate lighting for cutting root propagation cannot be overstressed. These heirloom tomato cuttings have been under lights for 12 days, are very healthy and well rooted. They can be transplanted at any time. This is a homemade aeroponic cloning machine, another excellent use for our piece of cake dome. The device uses 2-inch net pots to hold cuttings placed in rock wool cubes, and, for what it is, it works quite well. We used a dishwasher, detergent bucket, and lid, drilled 2-inch holes, and inserted the net pots. A word of caution, however, be very careful when using hole saws. The spraying power comes from a small submersible pump and one standard 360-degree spray nozzle. In this instance, we used a cloning gel, but a dilute cloning solution can also be used. If you want to do some serious cloning, it's well worth the investment to purchase a manufactured cloning machine. To activate the machine, add 1 ounce of cloning solution per gallon of water. This will provide a vitamin and mineral-rich nutrient which enhances root development. These foam rubber discs eliminate the need for growing media. The stem of the cutting is placed into a slit where it is supported during the entire rooting process. The cutting-loaded discs are placed into the cloning tray where they will remain until ready to transplant. This particular cloning machine holds 25 cuttings, plenty for the average gardener. But for those who are interested in mass plant production, cloning machines of 100 plus are manufactured. Treat these cuttings the same as in the rooting tray method. Spray the leaves with a fine mist, then cover to hold the moisture in. A moisture dome is not made for these small cloners, so we made one using 2 vegetable containers. The following are comparisons of root development. When you see a nursery plant that really turns you on, or you know of an organic nursery that raises heirloom plants, you may want to convert some to hydroponics. Many nursery plants are grown in clumps, but can be separated versus thinning, which will give you a bit of savings. Soak the clump of plants in temperate water, rinse, then gently pull the roots apart. This will take some work, and some roots will be torn, but if treated properly, the plants will flourish. Once separated, rinse the roots again, then prepare for the extended treatment that follows. Toss the old water and replace with clean water along with a few supplements. I generally use 1 cap of hydrogen peroxide, 1/2 teaspoon each of Super Thrive and vitamin B per gallon of water. Add a bubbler for aeration, then allow the plants to soak in the solution for several hours. If using an ebb and flow system, use a wick to make sure the roots initially get an adequate supply of nutrient. If plants are expected to get large, it's a good idea to use a fairly heavy growing media. Expanded clay aggregate works well for this purpose. Rinse the aggregate thoroughly, then fill the container around the roots, keeping the plant as close to center as possible. These sweet basil plants are being installed in a homemade busboy tray ebb and flow system. Once installed, maintain the nutrient solution, then get ready for harvest. Expanded clay aggregate is clay that has been formed then kiln fired. It's a popular growing media that holds moisture well and provides excellent root aeration. Here's the exceptional result obtained from converting those nursery plants to hydroponics. Please join us in Chapter 4 as we study hydroponic lighting systems.